And just start the recording. All right, guys, perfect. So today's training, it's my turn to go over training today, guys, is going to be recruiting 101. This is what you've been waiting for, right? I know a lot of people on here, you're kind of like sketchy, in your mind about building a business. You're not sure if you want to build a business, you're not sure where to start, what it looks like. But we're going to be talking about recruiting 101s, guys. So you have the basics and what you need to recruit successfully and to get these people through the pipeline from start to finish. So guys, grab your notebooks, grab your pens, grab your stylus, whatever you use to take your notes on so that you can get this information here, okay? I've been recruiting for a long time, so I can definitely go over what it takes. And if you are hiring, but your retention rate is very down, you can see in my notes that I'm going to go over today where your shortfall is, and what you need to fix about your recruiting pipeline so that you can get these people through the process. Okay. First, what I do want to go over, number one, okay, is everything starts with you, right? Guys, we are in business for ourselves. This is a very serious business, okay? So you want to ask yourself, if you are going to build a business, you have to understand that you are responsible for your team. The only thing you owe your team is an example and an opportunity. Everything else is up to them. So you have to ask yourself, I don't know what it looks like for you, whether you're in your phone, looking in a mirror, you have to take a hardcore look in yourself and ask yourself, if I want to build a business here with Family First Life, right? And I want to start recruiting, am I someone that I would want to follow? Am I doing all the right things? Am I setting the example for my team? Am I willing to do the things necessary or the things that I don't feel like doing so that I can have the things that I do like having and I can provide the things that I need for my team? You don't have to know everything here, guys, and you don't have to wait to start building. The cool thing about this is that if you're a brand new person here on our team or a brand new agent, or you haven't yet gotten your license, you can start building right away. The cool thing about this is that you have a business partner, someone that brought you in that can help you. So for example, I'm gonna use Angie for example. Angie, right? You've never cooked. Let's say you've never cooked before, right? And let's say I opened up a Waffle House, right? And I told you I would pay you a six-figure income to cook at that Waffle House. Would you learn how to cook? Yeah, right? Now, see, so most people, they don't know what they're saying no to, right? Money is only an issue in the absence of value. So back to Angie, right? If I told you, right, that before you even go through training, if you bring six people on that that want to make more money and they're sharp and motivated like yourself, I'll also pay them a six-figure income, right? But you have to bring them on and I'll teach them how to do it. And every time they cook, you get a bonus, right? And you didn't have to be there, right? So if I told you that, how soon would you start plugging people in?
Right away.
Right
Right
away.
away.
Exactly. So that's the same thing with this business. It's very different from most of you from where you came from. No, a lot of you have never sold insurance before, and that's okay. You don't have to. But the beauty about this is that, again, Family First Life, it's not just your family that comes first. We're a family here together and we work together. So if you don't know something, we're going to make sure we help you and train your team until you get in position to be able to train your own team and the people that they're bringing on. Okay, so understand that. So make sure, guys, are you the right person, right? That's doing all the right things that someone would want to follow. Okay. So number two, you have to identify your need, right? What are you looking for? Right. I know for me, I'm looking for someone that's trustworthy, that's hardworking. They've been through some things before and they've come out of their challenges. I'm looking for people who maybe have lost something and they're looking to get it back. I'm looking for people who want to go to work, and you identify those things through questions. Guys, this is not a multi-level marketing business. This is not hire everyone that you see that wants to make more money, because you'll learn very quickly, right, that this is a real business and we deal with money and we deal with families. Okay. But we also deal with things that come along when you don't do the right things. And if you don't hire the right person, guys, that can fall on you and your money and your pockets, right? And so I'll explain that later, but identify your needs. So who and what are you looking for, right? I'm looking for someone with all the things that I just said, plus someone that can help the agency go out and help families, whether it be spare time, part-time, or full-time, to satisfy these leads that we're getting in the different areas that are not getting, with these families that are not getting help. So one of the things that I use as a guideline, guys, is I use the CRM as a guide for hiring based on lead flow. So if I look in, let's say, Ohio, and let's say there's 9,000 leads in Ohio, to me, that means there's not enough agents in Ohio helping those families. So I'm going to look and find out who I can hire in Ohio, right, to get on my team so that they can go out and help families and change their family's life, as well as help build this agency, right? So definitely identifying your needs. Who and what are you looking for? Number 3, what is your schedule and your plan to recruit? Okay, this is very, very, very important. So your schedule, find out in your schedule, write it down, make it plain and simple, because anything that's written down on paper, right, and you're saying it out loud tends to happen more than just keeping it up here, right? And it's not clear because then you're not looking at it, paying attention, or thinking about it. So look at your schedule and find out, when are you going to recruit? When are you going to talk to these agents or these people, right? When are you going to do this, and what's your plan moving forward to get them through the pipeline? So like for myself, I've hired someone to do that for me because I don't have the time. You might not be in my situation. So you may just be getting started. You might have to do that yourself. So you have to set up a schedule for yourself on when you're going to sell and when you're going to recruit, right? What was that, number 3? Number 4, this is a numbers business, guys, right? So just like you would have to book 10 appointments in one run day to have success in the field, the same thing applies to the numbers. And most people don't realize that, right? I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to building an agency, one thing you want to remember: I don't believe what people say. I believe in people, and I look through people for people. But the only way to find the classes is by going through the masses. Does that make sense to you guys? All right. And so what do I mean by that? So the numbers are this: if you're in a warm, hot market, meaning family, friends, people that you know, first, let me say this: the best agents are the people that you know as your hot and your warm market. If we ask everyone, or majority of people on here, the majority of people on this team right now has been referred by somebody else that they know, whether it be a family member or a friend. So now that you know that, would you go out in the cold, or would you stay in the hot and warm market? Stay in the hot and warm market, right? And who does that consist of? Family, friends, people that you know at school, right? People that maybe you continuously like or look at or follow on social media. Somebody that knows your face. Maybe somebody you see every morning when you get your coffee and you say hi, right? Stop and say something to them, because I was one of those people. I was working 5 jobs at once before I got into the insurance industry. I did not have time to come to an office. I was always on the job. So someone you're looking for that could explode your business is somewhere working hard as heck in the wrong vehicle. You never know what people are looking for. And guys, just like a big house and a big car doesn't mean a person is wealthy. Usually, sometimes those are the brokest people, right? They're house poor. Same thing here. People act like they live a glamorous life on social media. They're hurting and looking for an opportunity. You just haven't said anything to them yet, right? So definitely get into your warm market. So the numbers are this: you need 10 interviews set up for a BDM, for 3 to 4 people to show, and for 1 to join. So if you want to hire 1 person in this business that's going to do something, you need to invite 10 people. I don't care if your family members, friends, coworkers, spouse, whoever it is. Just like appointments, people cancel, reschedule all the time, right? Doctors' offices know this, right? We know this. So out of 10, 3 to 4 will show, 1 to join, right? Then if you're in the cold market, so if you're going on social media, people that you don't know, when you're out and about and you're meeting people and you're grabbing those names and numbers, you need to have 20 invited, so that's double what the warm market numbers are. 20 invited. I don't care if it's to a BDM or if you're doing a personal interview. You need to have 20 interviews set for 3 to 4 to actually show up, and for 1 or 2, right, to actually join you in business. Worst case scenario, 1. So now if we're working smart, not hard, if the numbers double in the cold market, I don't know about you guys, I would want to stay in the warm market. Now, I use both markets, which is cool, right? But if you're just now learning how to recruit, I would stay in the warm market until you get really good and you can actually do both. That's my recommendation. But those are the numbers. And when you don't work those numbers, I'm telling you right now, you might have success one week where you've hired someone, but if you want to be consistent, those are the numbers that you need to be consistent. Okay. Number 5, right? When you hire a person, are they doing all the tasks that you asked of them before you hire them, right? So for an example, for me, I like to give people little tasks before I decide to hire them. So what I do is I like to send out a business overview video, and someone can actually put a video in there, or the videos that you like to use in the group chat here. But I send them a 30-minute video of a business overview with my personal business card. And I give them a small task. Hey, how soon can you watch this 30-minute video? They give you the time when they can watch it, and then you set up a follow-up time after. If I get to that follow-up time and they haven't yet watched that 30-minute video, I don't know about you, but to me, that doesn't let me know that they're serious. So start recognizing the small things, give people small things to do. If they're not doing it, I don't know if they're going to be a good fit on your team. So identify, and also if you haven't yet hired them, you haven't yet set, if you're thinking about hiring them, but you're not sure, ask them questions in their life, find out things that they've accomplished. Some people who never accomplish anything, but they're doing everything, a lot of the times, those are the people that will frustrate you because they just won't ever sit down to do and focus on one thing, right? So those are just some little things that, again, I look at, I give people small tasks before I even hire them. The next thing, and I'll answer the questions afterwards, guys, so just give me a moment. We're on number 6, I believe, right, Angie? Okay, so number 6, guys, once you've hired someone, now we want to add them to all platforms. And let me tell you how important that is. Recruiting. When you're recruiting someone, you want to add them to all the platforms. All right. And you also want to set the expectation on what's expected of them when they come into this business. Right. So the platforms that you want to add them to are the Slack group, Facebook, our private Facebook group, and our private Telegram group. And you want to do this as you're putting them in the system on fflgetcontracted.com. So if you don't know how to add someone to your team, it's very simple. So if someone can put that in the chat, it's fflgetcontracted.com. Okay. So then you want to fill that information out. But getting them to these platforms, guys, is so, so, so important. Let me tell you why, right? Because people need to see success. It's not enough just for you to tell them that. And already they are already thinking it's too good to be true with the amount of money that we make, so that they can see success fast and it matches up with the success and everything that we're talking about. Get them plugged into these platforms while you're putting them in the system on fflgetcontracted.com. If they're not seeing success, especially if they're in a cold market, within 24 to 48 hours, they will quit. I can promise you. The high of everything that they want in their life is gone. So make sure you're plugging them in right away. Do not send them a link for them to join on themselves. They'll forget about it. They'll never do it, right? You are to put them and add them yourself so you can see that they're in there, okay? So that's getting them on the platform, right? And then setting the expectations, right? That's one thing we can all get better at. A person, when they walk in, so for an example, if a person walks into a job, there's already a job description and a set of expectations that it's expected of them before they walk in, how they dress, how they talk, what they're supposed to do, their daily tasks on a day-to-day basis. It's the same thing with this business, guys. You have to treat it like a job until it pays you like a business. So when you bring someone on, they have to agree to the things that's required of them in order to have success. So it helps you as the trainer to become super effective in helping them getting through the pipeline and the process. So they need to understand they need to get licensed quickly. The course needs to be done in 5 days. It doesn't take that long. So the person that finishes the course, and those are the people that you're looking for, the people that get this done now, right? Anyone typically that takes 30 days or longer to get that course done usually aren't really that motivated and don't do anything here. Okay. So getting licensed in finishing the course and getting licensed in a week, right? Being an example, right? Understanding how chargebacks work and what happens when you have a chargeback and how to get rid of the chargeback. And then what's expected of them if they don't, or what happens to them if they don't pay that chargeback back, right? A lot of people get upset because they don't know this and they find out at the worst and wrong time, right? It's not a good feeling, but when you know up front, it's almost like a storm. If you have an umbrella, you can be prepared. But if you don't know a storm is coming and you don't have an umbrella and you didn't prepare, you're going to get caught in the storm. So that you guys aren't getting caught in the storm, make sure you have a conversation with your business partner or the person that brought you in about chargebacks and what happens when you don't pay them, how each carrier works, and understanding that aspect of the business. Leads and calls, right? Letting your recruit know that they are expected to buy leads every run day, and the cost of the leads, and going through that system with them on our CRM, right? Um, and then also posting, how effective and how important posting is, all right, in the group chats and making sure the numbers are correct, right? Going over that expectation with them. Also, getting on all the training calls, all right, and the podcast and the resources that are available to your recruits so they know where to go and what to look for and what to watch and what to plug into, right? On a day-to-day and a consistent basis. Because I don't know about you guys, right? But when I came into this business, I paid very close attention to Kali, right? Actually, the person that brought me in was not consistent. So I had to look for leadership elsewhere. So I went above him and I went to Kali because she was the example of the person that had what I wanted and was doing all the things and getting recognized by the company. So guys, if you're not doing the things that you need to do as a leader, your team will look past you to someone else, whether it be outside of FFL at another agency, which you don't want, or outside of someone else here in our hierarchy to follow, right? So you want to make sure you're doing all the right things, right? Letting them know to get on the training calls and what's expected of them, okay? And then I believe I'm on number 7, right? Is following up on their success, taking time out of your day, maybe every week or every 2 weeks, right? Where you can follow up and find out where they are in the pipeline. What are they doing, right? Because a lot of the times, guys, if they're not showing up on these podcasts, these trainings, these calls, they're not going to be they're not going to be a great agent here, okay? Like going back to what I was talking about with Kali, she had something that I was looking for, right? But she never spent too much time with me. I went out in the field with her one time. I ran with her all day. She closed one sale and I was on my own the day after. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes. Okay. But the cool thing about this is that you can learn from your mistakes, but you're going to earn while you learn. And by sticking with us and staying in communication with your business partners and your leaders, we can tell you all the landmines that we stepped on so that you don't have to. But if the communication is not there, I can promise you people are going to try to do their own thing. And some of you on here have experienced that. When you try to do your own thing and you don't follow the system that we have in place, you end up putting yourself back 30 steps back when you could have stepped back 2 times and put yourself 30 steps forward. So those are the steps, guys. So what I want to do is call on some people here. to see if, guys, you're paying attention, right? So, and guys, everybody's video should be on. Like, this is the culture here. We say it each and every week. Angie, if their video is not on, please take them off. But guys, this is a video on meeting, okay? So I want to call on Annie. Are you there?
I'm here. One time.
Say that again.
I said I'm here.
Okay, perfect. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. So what are some things that you can actually use to identify what you're looking for in a new recruit?
I can look at. Wait, repeat that again. I was on the phone.
So sure. What are some things that you can mention right now and what you're looking for in a new recruit?
To that recruit.
So you're looking to hire them. I mean, to recruit them, right? What are some things that you're looking for when it comes to identifying the needs of what you're looking for?
Are they looking to free themselves from the job they're at right now?
Okay. What are some things that I've said?
I was on the phone. My daughter.
Okay. Can anybody answer that?
Yeah, Karyn.
Yeah. Motivated and giving them a task.
One thing I liked is that you talked about going through the CRM and looking into different areas and seeing where there are a lot more leads. I would have never thought about that, and then looking for people in that area and going after them. So that would be more of a cold market though, but that's a great way to look at it.
Well, too, yeah. So here's the thing too. If you have family in other states, that's a cool thing too, right? Always start with your warm market first. I'm not knocking the cold market, but that is a task that you can do for cold market and warm market, seeing where your family is in the different states and looking on the CRM to see where the bulk of the leads are by giving them an opportunity to have success. I don't know if you guys have looked at the CRM, but there are states that don't have any leads. So I don't know about you, but I'm not recruiting a person in Alaska and there's 2 leads in Alaska. I'm just not doing it, right? We want to have success here, okay? And then what are some, who am I going to call on next? Let me see. And I know I didn't go over each one, but let me call on Darren Henry. He's a good recruiter. Darren. Going once, going twice. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all couldn't hear me. Why didn't nobody tell me? I'm calling on people. Darren Henry. Darren going once, going twice. Previs.
Hey, Karyn. Good morning. How are you?
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Y'all couldn't hear me.
Okay. Hear me?
So, yeah. What are some tools that you use for recruiting?
Tools?
Yeah, like for example, Facebook. What are the different tools that you use for recruiting?
Facebook. Myself, I just personally, just recruit direct, in person. I don't
Right, but where are
use
you
social
getting
media.
them from?
Cold market, warm market, so a little bit of both.
Okay, where are they coming from? From the cold market, where are they coming from?
So it could be different sources, like just people in the street, people at the mall, maybe people within rideshare. like, yes, for example, yesterday I recruited the maintenance technician. They came to my apartment. So I just basically just show people what I make. Hey, this is what I made last month. But, you know, I have an opportunity. Basically, we have I work for a company called Family First Life. And basically what we do is sign people up for life insurance. And I'm actually looking for some part-time help. My typical part-time agent, I maybe works 30 hours, 20 hours a month. And they typically make between $5 to $6 grand a month. Does it sound like something you might be interested in taking a look at? I made $14,000 last month. And I basically showed them what I made. Yeah, I'm interested.
Very simple, straight and to the point, guys, right? You can take what he said and use it for yourself. Because as you know, Previous is recruiting at a very high and rapid pace. So that's something that you can say for yourself. And great job, Previous, on getting people in the system, right? Who's the next person I'm gonna call on? Jawan.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Okay, what are the three groups that you need to add a new recruit to when you bring them on within 24 to 48 hours?
Sure. So the first thing you need to do is enroll them into the contracting. That's the first thing. You need to put the information into our system. The second
Hold
thing.
on. Let's go through that. This is based on what I said, right? When we're getting them in the system and getting them started within 24 to 48 hours, remember I said they have to see success fast. What are the three groups that you have to add them to in order to make that happen?
My phone is going out because I'm driving, so I really can't hear you that good.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What are the
Okay.
three groups that you need to add them to in order to get them off to a fast start within 24 to 48 hours for them to have success, for them to see success, excuse me?
Can I answer that?
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
you go ahead,
Hi, Miss Davis.
because you're going in and out. I can hear you, but I can't.
Okay.
That would be Facebook, Slack, and Telegram.
Thank you. Thank you. That is very important, guys. Like as soon as you're bringing them on, that's the group that you want to add them to, right? And guys, if you're not sure, thank you, Miss Avis. If you're not sure, guys, the steps or, for them to take, everything is on, if somebody can put this in the chat, fflagenthub.com. You have the unlicensed checklist and you have the licensed checklist to follow with the new recruit so that they can go through the entire process and pipeline to become a successful agent. So anytime, guys, someone says, well, I don't know what to do next, ask them what step they're on, whether they're unlicensed or licensed on that checklist, and you have the checklist in front of you so that you can help them get to the next step. Because honestly, guys, it's just the same process that you guys went through when you came aboard and got contracted, right? So everything, all the resources are there, is on the FFL Agent Hub for you to follow. Okay. Now, what I want to do right now is start answering some questions that I saw here in the chat. I saw Miss Alice said, how much should we be spending per week on leads? Guys, you can have a separate conversation with the person that brought you in. This particular training this weekend is on recruiting 101, just recruiting alone. So I want to answer all recruiting questions. Does anybody have any recruiting questions or having issues when it comes to recruiting and you need help? Anyone? So everyone knows how to recruit. No one's having issues or troubles. Okay. All right. Going once, going twice. Nobody has questions.
I guess I have a question because I've had this
Okay.
and I'm not the biggest recruiter, so I appreciate this meeting and what I've learned. And I see where I probably messed up with that, but like when you recruit somebody and then you get them into the class and then they ghost, I guess how you would fix that was adding them into the Slack, Facebook, and Telegram. But then, yeah. that's like, I don't have problems with talking with people or even getting them involved, but then boom, they fall off and it's like, okay.
You know, that's a natural process. It's just like with our, just like with the families that we help. I don't care who you are, 30%, you know what I mean? You can be the greatest closer in the world. 30% of your business is always going to fall off. It's the same with recruiting. Recruits are going to go ghost, right? So this is why I was telling you, don't hold on to that one person. And guys, honestly, usually the loudest person that is like doing the most does absolutely nothing. It's always the people you never expect that actually stick around and do something. What you want to do is keep them in the environment and keep them plugged into the system. And guys, everybody's timing and learning curve is different, right? You give them what's expected. You tell them what's going on. It's up to them to follow through. So Angie, if they go ghost, they were just one of those people that you got started that didn't believe in themselves enough. And they gave up. Right? But that's okay, right? Because guess what? When Kali brought me in this business, I said no at first, but she kept plugging into me. She kept inviting me. She kept showing me her checks. And eventually my time came where I said yes, right? So we have a bunch of people that sit in the chat and just watch. But what I can tell you is we've had a bunch of people actually watch and then made a decision to say, you know what? I need to get out of my own funk. I need to get out of my own situation. I don't like where I am. I want to change, and let me say yes, right? So everybody's timing and everybody's learning curve is different. Your job only is to provide the example and the opportunity. Everything else is up to that new recruit. Because we have all this, we have the checklist, we have the system, the tools. No one told you or stood on top of you to tell you what you needed to do. You just went out and did it. Those are the people that you're looking for, but you got to go through those people, Angie, right? That ghost you have to go through those people first. And you need to get out of them as much as you can before they quit. So for example, what I like to do is I like to get referrals and have my new recruits bring people on while they're going through that process, right? And then I communicate with all of them. So let's say, Angie, I brought you on and I brought your best friend on. Your best friend's not going to quit on you because you wouldn't quit on your best friend, right? So both of you are sticking around. Both of you are a team. It's cool to be in business together, right? Both of you are going to help each other through the process, right? But if you were by yourself, you don't have any team, you feel alone, right? You're more than likely not going to stick around, especially if you're not plugged into these 3 chats, such as Slack, Facebook, and Telegram, to see success fast. Because I don't know about you guys, but I get pumped up every time I see the Telegram group. People closing, people getting excited. It's just a culture in a not an office, but a group chat setting, almost as if you were in an office that you can plug into if you're not. And again, we're all in different states. So it's the cool thing about it is we can all be together on one chat as if we were in an office to get that environment, that culture that we're getting from the chat. If you turn your notifications off, guess what? More than likely, you might forget to look at the chat. And if you don't look at the chat or success, how do you know like what's going on? Or how do you know that there's Saturday training? Because that's where we post, the links. How do you know what's going on? And guys, let me tell you this, if you haven't seen it already, this industry gets better each and every, like all the time. And we're always making changes, especially with the carriers that we work with and what we're doing. And if you're not plugged in, I can guarantee you right now, you're going to feel lost. So you want to make sure you're staying plugged in and looking at that group chat to everything that's available to you. We've even posted companies that are actually increasing compensation and adding bonuses. But how would you know who to write with to get those bonuses if you're not plugged into the group, right? So that's why it's so important. But yes, Angie, making sure that when you're bringing people on, again, look through them, find out who they know, because the right person is going to be just like you, where no one had to tell you, no one had to beg you, no one had to tell you to look at your no one had to tell you to look at your emails to find out what step you're on, right? Now, some people do need a little bit of hand holding, but guys, not enough to where it takes you out of your day for you to make money to be the example for your team. So make sure you're bringing on the right people and kind of looking at what they're doing. Someone posted something. What do you think of bingbongdials.com? So I know that a particular leader is using bingbongdials.com, which is a live dials. Guys, we do things together with our agency. I can't speak for what other agencies are doing, but we have our own live dials. So make sure you're plugged into our live dials, because what I would hate for you guys to do is go to another team, you hear something that didn't work for you or you didn't understand. And again, too, even though we're all a family, guys, a lot of leaders in other areas are not going to take consistent time away from their schedule to help you if you're not on their team. So you have your leaders here that are available. You have the people that are crushing it here available, that's on live dials consistently every day. Make sure you're posted in our live dials. Make sure you're plugged into our live dials. It's the same ID code and passcode that you get on in our Saturday training. So we're there every morning starting at 7:30. And sometimes, guys, we stay on all day because we have different people coming on that have different schedules to kind of run it and be the example. So I don't have any way about Bing Bongs. We don't use it. So I'm not going to talk about something that we don't use, because that's for other leadership use that we don't. Does anybody else have any questions?
How do you keep your recruits like focused in the beginning? Because see, like once you recruit them, it's up to them to jump into class and to pretty much take care of business, because at that point there's nothing you can really do at that point for them until they pass the test. So
Exactly.
So,
I know what you're talking about. So we're talking about recruit retention.
exactly, and them not dropping off, because for one reason or another. I mean, I understand that people don't want to study or things like that. It's inconvenient, but it has to be done. But that's speaking from a position of a person who's already licensed. So like, what do you do in particular to keep them from falling off?
So there's nothing that you can do. Again, it goes back to, you only owe your team an example and an opportunity, right? You're looking for people like yourself, right? And when I say like yourself, not like the way that you close and how much you close, right? Because everybody's going to have their different closing ratio. You're looking for people that has the same qualities that you had when you came in. Now, the process that I went through with the steps that I had you write down, right, contributes to the retention of that person's success. So like for me, if I bring somebody on, Josh, and I recruit them, if I don't communicate with them after 2 weeks to a month, more than likely they're going to be gone. So we have to keep the communication clear. The expectations have to be set up front, right? They have to be posted in the groups within right then and there so that they can see success within 24 to 48 hours. And then you know what I mean? Like the numbers have to be done. So if you recruit one person this week and 2 people next week, more than likely those 3 people are going to quit. So you want to make sure every month you're recruiting 10 or more people in a warm market, 20 or more people in a cold market, because out of that, you're going to get 1 to 2 people that are going to run with you. So we got to ask ourselves, are we working the numbers? Are we being the example? Are we putting them in the system fast enough, right? And are we following up with them accordingly to make sure we know where they are in the pipeline? And you can find that out very quickly. If you're calling them and they don't answer, they're done. If you're calling them and they're answering and they're having trouble, you can figure out where they are on the checklist and get them through the system. But if they're not plugging in on, if they're not getting on Saturday training, if they can't do the small things, they're done. They're never going to get this business. So you quickly identify who to spend most of your time with and who to call and who to text.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
KG, can I suggest something I've done, and maybe this isn't right, but I like to tell everybody when I sign them up for the class that class is not for the week, and that it can be a lot, and all you have to do is just push through it, like, and constantly. I give them what I did, how I passed, and what was good for me. Like I just constantly did the practice test over and over and over again. And I let them know not to focus too much on trying to figure it out, because the training will happen once you get past that exam. Because I know for me, when I started this, I was overwhelmed with all the information, and I can imagine how that's why I say it's not for the weak. People are going to be like, I ain't doing this. But like, if you just push through it and you take those practice tests over and over and over again, you're going to pass the exam. You have to just push through it. And do you suggest telling people that up front? Because I let them know up front. I don't sugarcoat.
Well, that goes with what I talked about with setting the expectation, right? If you tell them it's easy and they get to it and it's hard, they're going to be like, well, you told me it was easy. It's going to throw them off and they're not going to want to do it. Right. So for me, I like to let them know, like, again, like you said, this is not for the weak. I don't know if this is something that you'll be interested in. I like to take things away from people versus just giving it to them, because then you see if they're the right person. Like for me, I like a challenge. I don't like anything that comes easy, right? Nobody does. Well, most, some people do, but those are the ones who typically use you, right? But the people that you're looking for are those who are willing to go up against a challenge. And I always tell people this, Angie, this is not for the weak, right? Just like you said, this is not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, right? But think about this, Angie, did you go to college? Or have friends that went to college?
Yes, I went to college.
Okay, how many years did you go to college?
Way too many. 6.
6. So in those 6 years, right, you had different semesters where you're probably taking 18 credits, right, of different classes that you've never taken before. You've taken a lot of tests in college, right?
Yes.
Did any of those tests pay you?
No.
Okay. College costs money, right?
Way too much.
Maybe a lot more money than we actually have. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And when you came out of that college, was there a glorified 6-figure job waiting for you at the end?
I'm the wrong person to ask that, because yes, it was for me, unfortunately, because the field I was in, but
For
not
most people?
typically. For most people, no.
Got you, right? But, and then all in all, right, and I'm not knocking the people who love and have a job, right? But I know for me, a job is just not for me. But at any time, that 6-figure job could be taken away from you, right?
It sure was.
With all the work that you put in.
In the blink of an eye, it was gone.
And that actually happened to you, right?
Yes.
The cool thing about this, Angie, is that with this test that you're going to take, yes, you're going to bust your butt just like you would if you were in college. But when you finish and you pass, you have a license that no one can take away from you. You have a recession-proof business, and 6 figures is the bare minimum of what you would make here following our simple system with all the resources, tools, and leadership that we have for you to get what you need. And guess what? You decide how much you make. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds really good.
So it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. But I can guarantee you it's better than those 6 years in college with the money that you didn't have, with the time that you didn't have that you spent, with the job that you obtained that you thought you wanted that they took away from you. Does that sound fair?
Yes. Damn, that was good,
Yeah.
KG.
Thank you, guys. What you do is when you're listening to someone, right? Because people, when you're listening to these people that are looking for an opportunity, that are looking to be recruited, they quickly tell you within the first 5 minutes of their conversation whether they're going to be recruited or not. Guarantee. And then if they're not, and they don't be upset. Again, no, it's not forever. It's just not right now. Keep dripping on these people. Keep showing your checks. Previs shows his checks all the time. I show my checks all the time. People like, most people don't make what we make, and they're struggling today, especially at the time like this that we have, people are just, everything's a big question mark. Gas is high, food is high, childcare is high, and they're busting their butt in the wrong vehicle, and they could come here and change their life. Get unselfish today and go say something to someone, because if you say the same thing to enough people, somebody's going to wake up and decide to run with you. But you have to open your mouth first, and you have to be mindful of the people that you're talking to, with what I went over with you and what to look for when you're recruiting. So anybody have any other questions?
I just
have a
thought of
question.
one. Oh, go ahead,
Okay.
Yvette, and then I'll go.
So, I love the idea with the CRM and looking in different, other areas to recruit in. My question is, if you do that and you find someone, how quick do you want to, get licensed in that state?
Well, with a license, they can make money. So how quick would you want them to get licensed? Are you talking about
So-
you getting licensed?
Myself.
Okay,
right.
yeah. So if somebody can put the website in the chat down at the bottom, you want to go to nipr.com. All you're doing is you're paying that state fee for the license. Every state is different. It'll show you on NIPR before you make your purchase, and you'll be contracted within 1 to 2 days.
Okay. Should I
And-
wait and see if they're going to, because it is a different state, and like you said, it's different, like Nevada. I want to say it's like $200 or something like that. Do I immediately do that? Because they may stay as a recruit or they may not.
No. When you bring them on, bring them on.
Oh,
It doesn't matter what state they're in. That's totally that's very separate from you getting your license in that state. Now, some states, guys, we can send out the list, but some states require you to have a license in that state to override the person that you brought in. But it's a cool thing to, so that you can help that new recruit in that state that they're in to get that license in that state.
right. That's about to
yes.
override them.
Yes, certain states that do require it. I'll have Mike Fowles send me the states that are required to override your team in that state. But yes, it's very simple. Go on NIPR.com, fill out the information on adding a new state, and then pay that state fee, and then you'll be contracted in 1 to 2 business days. I believe some of the states you can actually start writing business right then and there. They just won't approve they won't pay out on those applications until your license actually goes through after 1 to 2 business days.
Thank you.
Back then.
Okay.
All right.
Angie had a question.
Yeah, just real quick, because what I was considering doing is like going live on social about recruiting, just because that's just how I can hit a majority of my warm market. And I wanted to make sure that I was being compliant when talking about money. What can I say? What can I not say?
So Mike File has an email of everything of what to say and what not to say if you're going to be going live on different social media platforms. So definitely email and connect, or even with Lauren. If you send an email to contracting@fflall.com, Lauren can send you the email of what to say and what not to say, so that you're staying in compliant with the Family First Life guidelines. We're getting better, right? Can't say hire, got to say recruit, but we're getting better. But yeah, so that you're saying all the right things and making sure you're staying compliant. Definitely email any contracting issues or any questions about, contracting or that particular question to contracting@fflall.com. So guys, it is 12 o'clock. If you have any additional questions, you can text me or reach out and text Kali herself or your business partner that brought you in. I absolutely love you all. I'm actually in the field today. So if you're in the field, go crush it. If you're on the phones, go book your 10 appointments. I love you all. Let's go run it up this week, right? Let's take our business, our lives to the next level. Y'all have a great week and a great day. Love you all. Have a great day.
Have a good weekend.
All right.